Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks also so much to It's Time and Ecology for organising such an awesome event in relatively short notice. Thanks so much for putting this all together. I'm super excited to be here. Looking forward to seeing all the amazing ideas and solutions people have been working on to solve this phenomenal problem of climate change we've created for ourselves. But today I'll be speaking about the tool that we're using to fight climate change, namely edible insects. And if you just give me 2 seconds, I'll share my screen with you, just so you can see my slides. So you should be able to see my screen now. My name's Leo Taylor. I'm the co-founder of Better Universal Grub, otherwise known as Bug. We created the world's first insect recipe kit to make it easy to cook delicious insect meals at home. And today I'll share a little bit about what we're doing at Bug and how we're thinking about changing people's perceptions, but also how the industry are thinking about it and where we think we need to be. But why insects? Why am I speaking at a climate festival in the first place? Fantastic question. 1/3 of the environmental crisis starts with the food system. 80% of deforestation in the Amazon is a result of the beef industry. As our demand for protein doubles in the next 30 years, it's critical we rethink our relationship with food and find better ways of feeding ourselves. Amazingly, insects are one of the most sustainable, cleanest, and most efficient protein sources in the world. To give you an idea, crickets produce 2,000 times less CO2 and consume 22,000 times less water than beef per kilogram of protein. They also need much less feed and use a fraction of the land compared to traditional livestock because they can be vertically farmed. What's more is that you can rear them off the stuff that we throw away. So fruit and veg that would have otherwise ended up in landfill, you can recapture that waste and turn it into a superfood. And they really are a superfood. Crickets, for example, are up to 70% protein. That's 3 times more than beef. They've got more calcium than milk, more iron than spinach, more potassium than bananas, more B12 than red meat, more fiber than brown rice. The list really keeps on going. Our aversion to insects is really just cultural. 80% of countries around the world eat insects in some form, not because they have to, but because they're delicious. So in reality, we in the West are the weirdos. In Mexico, you might find some delicious grasshopper chapulines in your tacos, usually with some garlic and with some lime. In Thailand, you can have fried crickets with pandan and bay leaves, really aromatic, delicious with fluffy white rice. And in Zimbabwe, you might find people tucking into a warm and hearty mopani worm stew cooked in onions, tomatoes, and garlic. So really the question is, why are we so averse to edible insects in the West, and how can we change perceptions around this otherwise delicious, sustainable superfood? It might be no surprise to some of you that we aren't the first edible insect brand out there. In fact, in the last number of years, we've had a litany of edible insect products, from energy bars to granola to burgers to crackers to bar snacks, you name it. And some of these products actually got on supermarket shelves, in supermarkets like Lidl or Sainsbury's, Ocado, Planet Organic. So I've seen some modicum of success, but the vast majority don't last very long and tend to get delisted as fast as they were stocked, which might be a strange thing to hear coming from someone who's trying to get people to eat insects and convince them they're the future. But people are buying these products once and never again. So there's clearly a problem. But why? What's going on? We think that the industry is having a gimmicky crisis, and we believe it's a function of how they're thinking. So businesses and startups are currently asking the question: how can we get people over the line just to give insects a try and actually see that they're not really that disgusting, and insects are edible. You can stick them in a bar of chocolate and they'll be fine. But that's already quite a defensive position. And it's true that these questions are important. How can we, get people over the line? It's important if we're going to be mainstream. And in many ways, they're the obvious questions to ask. But the problem with just getting people over the line is that you end up with something like a snack. You end up trying to hide insects, and you end up trying to appeal to the average Joe. But you're not really solving average Joe's problem, or the problem of the early adopters, who really is who this is all about. So instead of worrying about who's willing to give insects a try, instead of worrying about getting people over the line, the better question is, who is going to love eating insects? Because these are the guys who are going to really grow this thing. They're the low-hanging fruit, and they're the ones who are going to ultimately establish this movement. And these early adopters are out there. We've been speaking to them for the best part of a year, and it turns out they don't want to be eating snacks. They want to be cooking, and they want to be experimenting with insects at home. They don't want to be limited to a cracker or an energy bar or whatever snack it is. We often joke, you wouldn't show people how delicious prawns are by selling prawn crackers. So why are we making cricket crackers? Let's not worry about hiding insects in snacks. For the people who would just cringe their way through, eating it and never buy one again, because they're just exponentially more effort for really just much less return. And something we're trying to do as a company is build the products and services around this community of early adopters. We're trying to coin the word buggetarian, so build this community around, build these products and services around the buggetarian community, so that they can do their thing and start to grow this community with us. So this is why we created the Bug Kits, Cooking Insects Made Easy. This is really a version 2 of the Bug Box Insect Recipe Kit that we launched in April. It's sort of the next iteration, if you like. We've got 3 incredibly delicious cooking kits designed to be flexible around popular everyday meals. So here we've got a sticky cricket, sticky teriyaki cricket with ginger and sesame seeds, perfect for really any stir fry. And then we've got crunchy crickets with Italian herbs and black pepper, perfect in really any pastas or salads. And then a buffalo worm powder falafel mix with parsley and harissa, great in pittas or wraps or again any sort of salad. These kits are designed to be convenient and flexible, while simultaneously showing you how to cook with insects and cook with this new ingredient. We believe that this is the sweet spot between allowing people to cook and experiment with insects at home, and still providing that hand-holding element, showing them how to cook with bugs, which most people have never done before. But on top of these kits, we're also building a range of recipes on our website to really inspire people's palates and get them experimenting with insects. One of the amazing things that we found is that once people are comfortable with using, learning how to cook with insects using our kit, they eventually start to experiment and do their own things. So we take them on the journey that we call from beginner to buggetarian. So once they're sort of on the buggetarian side on the spectrum, we're finding that people love going on our website, looking for recipe ideas, and experimenting with insects for themselves, which we think is fantastic. So I just wanted to finish with a short video that we put together for actually our bug box, but a lot of the same ideas in that still apply to our bug cooking kits.
we're making cooking with insects cool.
So please support everyone to go. Don't do big of a fight.
It's time asked me to finish with a climate positive action that you guys can maybe take away and think about after the festival. So this is mine. I'm a strong believer in entrepreneurship to solve problems, and this of course doesn't have to be a business. It could be a charity or a club, or WhatsApp group. Just getting your friends together to do something positive to get out there and solve problems. I believe we need more doers. We need more movers and shakers. So my climate positive action would be to choose a climate problem that you care about and go off and try to solve it. Be creative, ask people for help, and be proactive. There's actually a quote from the late great Steve Jobs, one of the world's best entrepreneurs, that has really inspired me in my journey with Bug. And I'll read it out to you now. So Steve Jobs says, "Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you, and you can change it, you can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use." So really, this is my way of saying, go and make the change that you want to see in the world. And finally, that's it. That's me. If anyone would like to know more about what we're doing at Bug and see see some of our recipes or our kits, please head over to our website, www.bug.recipes. Or if anyone has any questions, certainly reach out to me by email. Leo@bug.recipes is my email on screen now, or on LinkedIn as well. And if there's anyone out there who would like to join us, in our mission to change perceptions around edible insects and help us grow this movement, we're actually currently raising a seed round. So we'd absolutely love to chat. Thanks again to It's Time for inviting me along today. It's been a real pleasure, and I really look forward to watching some of the other presentations and seeing some of the other solutions out there. Thanks very much.